Okay, so I'll just go through like that sheet that I sent to you.
Okay.
I just added a little bit more based on like what you said for challenges, just an example of what I thought of. So.
Okay.
Okay.
I brought it up too, so I can look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was really excited that the kids that I chose, like one of them is actually one of my kids that is more of like a struggling learner. And so he like did awesome, and I was really excited about that too. And like he didn't like blurt out the answers or anything like that because I was kind of testing him.
I would have been able to tell that anybody was struggling.
Yeah, and like normally he's like one of my ones that's kind of like antsy. Uh-oh. One that's like a little bit antsy and stuff, and he like sat there and did everything he was supposed to. So I was like really excited about that. And like all of the kids participated really well, and they were on task. I was like, wow, this is awesome for 5 and 6 year olds.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, like how you chose your kids. You said the one was a struggling student, and I could hardly tell. But like that was the first thing that I noticed is how eager they were to participate and how excited they were and involved and intrigued. So
yeah. I pulled like a random mix. Like I pulled two of them are like higher, one's middle, and then one's like lower. I just wanted to see like how they would do with each other, and like if one would help another one, I kind of wanted to see what they would do with like their interactions and stuff like that. So.
Yep, it was a good mix. I noticed for your instructions, obviously was working on sounds of letters and the phonemes, and that you really didn't have like a pattern. You weren't just changing the letters around the sound or the N sound. You were mixing it up, so that was really cool. And I like that the students were only changing one letter at a time, so that way it gives them a chance to show their understanding and gives you feedback on who may need more help with all the different sounds and the letters of the words. And then it really gave the students time to think about, okay, I know that these two letters like E-N make the N sound, and I'm trying to find P for pen. Like it was a good way for them to really show what they learned. So.
Yeah. I guess my main question is like, what should I do next? Like, I'm sure like some of the kids would be like able to easily like come up with their own word. But like if you noticed, like I would use one word and then I would change one letter and then make a new one. I think they would have kind of a hard time with that. Instead, they'd probably just be able to make like their own CVC word. They could do that. And like come up with their own word, but I feel like trying to build off one of another would be kind of difficult for kindergarten. I could always try it though and see like if they're able to do it.
That was what I wondered, is if you could somehow differentiate to push some of those students that were really mastering the substitution of phonemes by, okay, I want you to change the first sound of the word pen. So creating an actual word by changing the first letter, in that word. So like den or 10, just different.
Yeah, so like rhyming words then, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And they could even then, let's say, if the ending was like EM, they could do like STEM, and they could have like 2 letters at the beginning too to work on that. It's a little bit more advanced skill for some of them to work on then.
So then do you think you would pull your groups back by ability then?
Yeah. If I did more difficult skills, then I would pull like all my high kids at the same time, and then middle, and then low, because it'd be a lot easier. It's kind of interesting though. I have like 20 kids, and I have about like 6 or 8 that are like high. So I try to pull them in 2 groups, and then I have like a middle group, and then I have a low group. And then one of my low ones, she just came from India. So she's like trying to pick up on things, but it's like really hard to try to explain things to her because she doesn't really understand like what sounds are. Like she'll just go like ah, ee, ooh, like just make noises. Like she doesn't understand that like certain letters have certain sounds, so it's like hard for me to explain it when it's such like a basic level for her. But she is picking up on things, but it makes it a lot more challenging for that.
It's definitely a disadvantage for her coming in kindergarten to be kind of like close to a same level.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, because what's interesting is she's only been here for maybe 2 months, and she already knows like more sight words than like another kid that's been here all year. So she is like picking up really fast and everything.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, good for her. So I guess the other thing that
I think it's good.
okay, the other thing that I noted was that it was just, for me being a 7th grade teacher, it's kind of just, it's cool to see like everything back to the beginning of
Like the progression of how it
Yeah.
starts.
Yeah, because when I get to me, it's like we don't even really work on spelling anymore. We're kind of vocabulary and comprehension. So that was kind of cool to see all that. So
Yeah, I thought that was interesting when I saw that we were paired together, and then I like went back and read your bio. I'm like, oh, okay, middle school. I'm like, I'm gonna have to read up on that.
What an interesting combination of
Yeah.
people, K to 7. Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I guess I learned, that you had a plan for, what you do next time and how you group your students, and then if I ever got a chance to watch your lesson again, I plan to look, to see how you are strengthening the lesson for those that are advanced than those that are still needing a little more and more guidance. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then, do you want me to, what time like this next week would be good for me to like do yours then?
So I put.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. All right. Well, I first had some questions for you, just so I know a little bit better about like your classroom and everything. So, are they all the students like the same like background?
As far as like ethnicity,
Yeah.
I have 14 Arabic and 1 Spanish.
Okay. I was curious about that. Okay. Yeah, I saw your one note on here about like the translating issue, because they could just be telling them the answer and you really don't know, because obviously you probably don't speak Arabic or anything.
No, and that's been a struggle. Like all the teachers have had struggles, because they'll be like, "Hey, can you explain this to so and so?" Like, yeah, and then they have the exact same answers written down.
Right. That makes it tricky.
It's been hard.
And so you're not like an ESL teacher or anything, right? You're just.
Well, I'm actually getting my certification in that right now too, or getting all my coursework for that done too right now. So.
Okay. Oh my. Yeah. I was gonna say, okay. So like there's just those kids in your class, so you don't have like any like normal like English speaking kids.
Yeah, this is just my class that I have at the end of the day that I get the camera for, and
oh, okay.
So I have to try to do like language building with them and try to teach them things, but it's been interesting.
Yeah. I bet so. Okay, and also another question. So I'm not really familiar with your guys' standards, obviously.
Right.
And so I was looking at that, and it almost seems like there's like 3 things in one standard, because it's like recognizing and identifying sentences, and it's like writing simple, compound, and complex, and correcting sentences.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting to see that too.
And then it says later on, like on that too, and build on previous knowledge from years before. So
is there like not that many standards, but then they're just like really long and they like encompass like a bunch of things?
Yeah, we've got reading, writing, like reading, fiction, nonfiction, writing conventions and stuff like that. But when it gets to like the conventions and grammar, it's basically like for pronouns, it'll say identify, personal pronouns, and then it'll say and build on what was taught before. So you have to like look at what was.
Yeah, that's tricky. Is that like through Common Core, or is that just like Indiana's standards?
Yeah,
okay.
They dropped out of Common Core like 4 or 5 years ago. I think.
Gotcha. All right, so let's see here. So I filled out the peer observation protocol.
Okay.
And so I agreed with you that I noticed that the students were all very engaged in the lesson, and they seemed a little bit familiar with the imperative sentences, and they were able to come up with examples on their own. Some of them were, and then some of them you just gave them a little bit of support, and then they were able to figure it out. It seemed like this lesson was like a little bit of a review, because they already knew what some sentences were, and then like different kinds, and then you were just focusing on like the imperative ones for that lesson. And I liked how you used different like teaching techniques. So first you said, okay, this is what we're going to learn about, then you showed them the video, and then you went over examples, and then you guys did the worksheet, and then after that did you do like the Simon Says thing too? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So I liked how you did like a variety of things, so it wasn't just like the same thing the whole time. So I really like that. Did you have some of the students like partnered up already while they were working?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them that like are level ones that are still even trying to understand social English. It's easier to sit them with somebody who
Right.
has a little bit. It's like a lot of the kids that were saying the answers were like level threes, and so they have a better understanding. So sometimes it's challenging to figure out, if the level ones know it or if they're just repeating what somebody
Right.
else is saying.
Yeah, because I like wrote like I wonder if like you paired up the students, it might help the ones that are struggling. But then at the same time, they could just be getting all the answers from the other kids. So that's kind of like a tricky thing to do there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And I said for the I learned part, I'm like, well, I learned what an imperative sentence is because like I never use that vocabulary or anything, obviously with kindergarten. So I'm like, that's something I learned. And then I said like for planning, I guess it would just be trying to figure out how to help those level 1 kids get where all those level 3 kids are at. With trying to give them support or maybe like adapting like the assignments and stuff to try to help them, which I'm sure you already do that a lot. Like you said, they could use the options that were at the top or they could come up with their own ideas, like to fill in the sentences and stuff, so that was good too. Let's see here. I noticed the one little guy was a little bit distracted. You could tell he was kind of like trying to show off a little bit.
For the camera. Oh yeah.
But the one thing that I thought was really good is when the principal like did come on for the announcements, they all kept like working, you could tell, and like when it was done, they weren't like, oh, like talking about it or anything. They just like kept going. So I thought that was really good. They must be like used to like having disruptions and stuff like that right now with all the testing and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you have any like questions for me about anything, or you think it went pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, considering the dynamic of that class,
Right.
It's great, and that's one of the reasons I chose to have it be the videotape class too, is that just to get some more feedback from somebody else that's watching it, because sometimes I feel like it's a zoo because some kids are speaking in Arabic, some kids are not, and I hate to say no Arabic and I'll make them speak English because then some kids shut down. So. I don't know. I've been learning some things like a scoot. I don't know if you remember hearing that part.
Yes, I wondered what that was.
It means like be quiet, like stop. And so I've learned that one. You realize, they understand that one, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's just been a challenge. So.
Yeah. Did you do like that same lesson then with like your other classes, or you just did that lesson specifically for that class?
In like all of these kids that I have at the end of the day are 8th grade and 7th grade. And they're all in different teams. They all have different teachers. So like the kids that I have, like I've got 4 or 5 of them actually in my language arts class. We were studying imperative sentences, but it was a little bit like more above their ability level.
Okay.
So for my own personal benefit, I pre-taught imperative sentences in that end of the day class to try to help my kids at least know what they meant. So.
I was gonna say, yeah, I wondered like if you did that with your other classes, like how those kids would do compared to the kids in this class. It'd be kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think you did pretty well.